Paris in the fall, the last months of the year and the end of the millennium. The city holds many memories for me, of cafes, of music, of love, and of death. As I picked myself up, all I could hear was the ceaseless drone of traffic. Life went on around me, but the explosion was to change my life forever.
Right, now I can finally start talking. Hello everyone and welcome to the JLR Podcast Network. It is time for the very first episode of Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars walkthrough and review. Not only am I doing a video with a camera of myself for the first time now for this podcast, but I'm actually still doing the podcast. So this is also going to be an audio version on Spotify, iTunes, what else? You name it. All the other podcasts, obviously SoundCloud, where I'm sharing this, and so I'm trying to do a walkthrough and a review of a video game that I loved for the last, 25 years or something. It's probably been, I've always said this is my favorite game now for almost 25 years. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do this walkthrough and review both on YouTube, where it's obviously easy to do it where everyone can see it, but on the audio podcast I'm gonna have to explain to people a lot of things, what just happened. For example, we just played the intro of the game. You were able to hear the voice of the protagonist in this game. I love to say that word, protagonist. George Stobart, young American. He was a young American traveling from California, traveling in Paris in the fall, near the end of the millennium, I think he said it. Which is kind of peculiar because this game is made in, 96. I'll have my phone here ready if I'm messing things up. I think it's 96. It's 96, yeah. Released in 96. And although released later in America on PlayStation. Well, it was no similar release, but there might be people, Americans, that might know this game better as Circle of Blood. I have no idea why it was named that in the American market, but I think most of you know it as Broken Sword: The Shadow of the Templars. Charles Cecil, yes, I don't want to butcher his names too. Charles Cecil. Sounds French. I have no idea if he's French or not. He's from York. I know that for sure, but he is the director, producer, writer. You know, this is his child. He's at Revolution. Is it Revolution Software? Yeah, Revolution Software, not Revolutionary. I don't know why I was going to say that. Never mind. Revolution Software. I gotta focus here before I start babbling on. Yeah, they released this game in '96. It's a point-and-click game that has, just fantastic visuals. So for the people who are doing the audio thing, you might have to just play the game simultaneously if you want to experience and enjoy the visuals of this game. But I'll try to describe it as much as I can. So where was we? Where was I? We were George Stolbart. Yes, he has just arrived in Paris. Yeah, it's been in Paris. I don't know how long, but he's traveling there. He's a tourist, and it's during the fall. You can. The YouTube audience will be able to see the trees. They have all these red leaves on them, and there are leaves on the street, so that's definitely autumn or fall, as the Americans say. And so yeah, what happened is that we had the intro with the just awesome main theme soundtrack of the game, done by Barrington. Oh my God, Fallon. I'm gonna butcher names here. Well, let's just call him Barrington. Barrington. He was the composer for. I think he was the composer for Detective Morse. That's a really British show, but I think it was syndicated in a lot of European countries too. It was definitely in Iceland. I saw a lot of Detective Morse, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And the music will sound similar from time to time. But I love there's so much I love about this game. It's the actual gameplay, there's the story, there's the music, there's the artwork. So, without further ado, I'm going to play the game as a kind of a walkthrough. So you can use this as a walkthrough for the game if you're stuck in it. I know this game inside and out, so no problems. With that, I will easily beat the game. But I hope you will enjoy it. Following me on this ride. Is that a good saying? I don't know. I have no idea. I should try to look more at the camera for the YouTube users, but I'm also thinking I need to visualize this in my head and try to explain it as well as possible for the audio listeners. There are a lot of things happening now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do all of them at the same time. Anyways, George Stolbart, he shows up in Paris, and he was at a bistro, a cafe, somewhere in Paris, and there was an explosion. Well, maybe I should explain what happened right before the explosion. As he was waiting, he did receive his cafe. There was a man, wasn't he an overcoat or something, wearing a hat, wearing glasses. He went into the bistro and there was a lady there working as well. Wow, I forgot the name of a lady working at a cafe. I'm guessing. Okay, everyone is screaming at me now, but you know, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna start forgetting vocabulary. That's it's very common when I actually need to use something that I should know by now, but whatever. Waitress! Jesus effing Christ. Let's try to keep this clean. Waitress. So he went inside with the waitress, and then this clown came up. I don't know if you noticed that in the music cue, for those who are listening, that a clown showed up with all these balloons and, you know, George actually popped one of the balloons like that, and I would have thought if I was like the clown working, like, hey, come on, what are you popping my balloon for? Are you gonna pay for that? But obviously the clown didn't care that much about the balloon because that was all just a big setup. Because the clown went in there with the an accordion. Now I have to be careful not to mix this up because for some reason in the Icelandic language, the name for an accordion is harmonica or harmonica. There's one of those mix-up things. I don't know why it ended up being that way, but so often when I see an accordion, I feel like saying harmonica because that's what we call it in Icelandic, but it's not that. It's an accordion, right? And if you're wondering, well, what do you call a harmonica then? Well, munharpa, which basically means a mouth harp. It might be something called mouth harp, I'm not sure, but I'm babbling, and now I'm spitting in the mic. Jesus Christ, this is a terrible review and walkthrough so far. So let's get to it. So he went in there with this big, kind of a comical-looking accordion, and it started beeping. He stole the briefcase that this old guy was carrying, and then he just ran out, and boom, the loudest and the most just colorful explosion I've ever seen. And you would think, after you see an explosion like that, that everything within 100-meter radius. I'm using the metric system because I'm not gonna bother trying to learn what the feet are and whatever. What is it? 180 centimeters is 6 feet. I know that roughly. Yeah, something like that. You would think an explosion like that would just destroy and demolish everything, and the cafe is completely blown up. But our hero, he kind of stood up, and he seems all right. Although he's just not been standing there listening to me rambling for the last, I don't know, when did we start? I'm trying to keep this within the hour. I didn't even put on a timer, so this is all going so smoothly. Anyways, so here we are. Here's George, outside the cafe that's been blown up. What would we do first? Well, I'm not just gonna give you the answer straight away, but let's try to do the things that we would first think of, like go inside and see if everyone is okay. Well, this is a point-and-click game, one of the old-fashioned point-and-click mouse games. And although it wasn't on originally made for PC, it eventually came on. It was on the PlayStation, and I played it first on the PlayStation, the original. So there is a button for action, where George will make actions, and then the right-hand button is like a observation. Ooh, I'm too close into the mic there. Yeah, he will observe. He'll be able to observe. Give us some detail about things. So, if we just look at the glass here, at the broken glass,
the blast had blown out the glass, leaving a gaping hole.
Yeah. So now he's said the obvious. I don't have to explain it more. There's a big hole in the cafe because there's no glass there. Only broken glass. So let's go inside. Let's see if everyone's okay. This is going remarkably well. I feel like I'm so in touch with everything. Great music in this game. You're gonna hear a lot of music cues. Let's look at the body here. This is clearly a dead body.
It was the body of the old man.
The body of the
old man. It was hard to believe I'd seen him alive only minutes before.
Did you get that? He just saw him enter the cafe just a few minutes ago, and then the monk... Well, a few minutes ago. I've been babbling for such a long time. It's not... This is not gonna be in real time, I suppose. These events. Alright. Now I'm searching the body.
I tried not to meet his stare as I searched the dead man's pockets. No wallet, no papers, no credit cards. The guy's past was a blank page.
A blank page. So we know nothing about the guy. He was not carrying anything. We know there was a briefcase taken. That we saw that in the intro, but George probably didn't see it. But let's see. There is the waitress. She's unconscious. Let's see. What is he saying?
The pretty young waitress was unconscious.
I don't have to say the things that he's going to say, so I'll let him do the most of the talking. But let's try to talk to her. See what happens. Whoa. Careful there, George. He might have pulled a little bit too close to... Well, never mind.
Oh, my head. Never again. How much vodka did I drink? Oh, no, don't tell me. What is your name, Sherry?
George Stobart, ma'am.
Oh, American.
She asked the question quite innocently, but I could sense her reserve. It was something which seemed to afflict all Europeans. You look like you could use a little help.
I could use a little drink. I feel sick, dizzy, and bruised. I don't even remember the party.
Just relax and take it easy. You've been knocked out.
You don't say. What happened?
There's been an explosion. You should try not to move.
Are you a doctor?
So, all of a sudden we get the first option to say what we are. We could say, no, we're not a doctor, or we could say, yes, we are a doctor. There's basically a thumbs down, thumbs up. Now, what we learn later in this game, what I know that the people that haven't played this game don't know yet, is that he is actually, he's a lawyer. He studied law. So I'm going to be the truthful George in this game and just tell the truth. So I'm going to say, no, I'm not a doctor because I know I'm, in fact, a lawyer. So what is his answer?
No, but I used to play hospitals when I was a kid. Can you remember anything at all?
No. I need a drink. Pour me a brandy.
All right, so she's asking for brandy, right? Are we going to tell her no in this situation? I'm going to not only be the honest George, I'm going to be the very helpful George, the positive George. So I'm not going to stand in her way and say, no, you shouldn't drink. I'm not the doctor. I have no idea if it's bad for her or not. So sure, why not? Have some brandy.
Is that straight or with ice?
Just give me the bottle with a cheat on it.
I guess a little drop won't hurt.
Sure, why not? Give her something to drink. How did she survive the explosion, by the way?
That's better.
She knocked back the brandy as if it was water. I was glad I wasn't picking up the check.
What about the old man? Is he dead?
Well, like I said, I'm gonna be honest here. He is dead, so we're not gonna cut around the bush. What? I don't even know the idiom. I'm just gonna tell it to her straight. Jeez, that took a while.
Yes, he is.
Oh, mon Dieu. I've never seen a real-life corpse before. Except for Grandmaman. That was different. She was family. Has he gone stiff?
I shouldn't think so. He's only been dead a few minutes.
That's a little bit more than a few minutes, but never mind. So what would have happened if she didn't get the brandy? I think she would have passed out. I have this vague memory of not giving her the brandy and then she telling her that the guy is dead, and then she would have passed out. But since she's a little bit boozed, is that what I'm saying? I hope so. Let's now ask her. We have two options we can ask. We can ask about the old guy, or we can ask about the clown. So let's ask about the old guy first.
Did you know the old man?
No, monsieur. I never saw him before.
Never saw him before.
How did the old man behave?
Well, agitated. He kept looking about him at the door, at his watch.
As if he was waiting for someone?
Yes, I suppose so. He was worried about something, that's for sure. If you ask me, he was having an affair. He had that look about him, like a guilty husband.
Well, I wouldn't accuse the man straight for, you've no idea what's going through his mind. He was definitely agitated, but was he having an affair? I doubt it. That was probably not the reason. I don't even know if he's married or not. So, next we can ask about the clown.
Do you remember what happened when the clown entered?
I remember that horrible tune he played all right. It was like a funeral dirge.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never liked accordion music either.
Accordion, right? Not harmonica or accordion.
Did the clown speak to the old man?
No, he just laughed at him. Then he grabbed the old man's briefcase and ran out of the door.
Have you heard some beeping? That's my rice getting ready. Steamed, cooked rice. Anyways, I'm having buttered chicken rice today. Isn't it? Buttered chicken rice? No. Buttered chicken with rice? Never mind. So we can ask about the briefcase now that he took, instead of asking about the clown again. So, yeah, let's go for the briefcase, since you just mentioned it.
Did you see what the old man had in his briefcase?
No, he didn't open it.
Didn't open it. Let's try to ask some more question about the briefcase.
What did the old man do when the clown snatched his briefcase?
Nothing. He just sat there like he was frozen.
Interesting. He probably thought, he might have thought it was too late. He knew what was happening. Who knows? I don't want to spoil too much, but now let's ask about the clown a little bit more.
Did the old man try to stop the clown?
Oh, he didn't have a chance. The clown dropped his accordion and ran out of the door. That's it. That's all I can remember.
That's all the options for her. We have nothing else we can talk to her about.
Stay here, mademoiselle. I'm going to look around for evidence.
Well, look around for evidence. There really is only the brandy bottle, and then there's the dead guy. There's nothing else we can select in here. Although, I mean, it's a devastating scenery, but it's very beautifully drawn. And like I said, if you listen to the audio version, you can only imagine a bar, a bistro, a cafe that's been blown up, and it's quite demolished. Ooh. Some of the music in this game will sound a little bit loud, but I'm just gonna have to talk over it. Now, where is the police? There's been an explosion, there's still some construction guy working around the corner. He doesn't seem to mind there was an explosion, so shall we go talk to him? Well, let's go to his direction and see what happens. If I I cannot double click. That's Broken Sword 2 when I can double click. Alright? What's this?
Freeze! Hold it right there.
Oh, don't shoot. I'm innocent. I'm an American.
Can't make up your mind, huh?
There's a
I
policeman.
demand to see the American consul.
Drop your weapons and get down on the ground.
A French policeman
Put
threw
that
his
thing
gun.
away, Sergeant Moo. I apologize, monsieur, but I cannot permit you to leave.
Am I under arrest?
Ah, no, I would simply like to ask you some questions. En avant, to the café, marche.
March, basically. Get the move on. So all of a sudden, here comes the police, and we're back at
What
the
a
cafe.
mess. This bombing is an outrage, is it not?
Stop that, monsieur. Stop holding your breath at once.
He's over the body of the old guy.
Has it occurred to you that he may be dead, Moo?
Oui, monsieur. But I prefer to look on the bright side. Besides, I recall a case where the killer escaped by feigning death. However, in this case, the man is quite dead. Clearly, the killer knew of his presence and...
How many times have I warned you about premature extrapolation? All we know is that he is dead.
It seemed reasonable to assume...
A great detective assumes nothing. Take Maigret, for instance.
But he was a fictitious character, monsieur. Why, he was no more real than Poirot or Tintin.
That's different, Moo. They were comedy Belgians. Anyway, it is unlikely that even you will learn much from talking to the dead. Examine the girl and take her statement, if you can.
That was quite the rant.
I doubt if she is in a fit state for questioning, monsieur.
Uh-oh.
It smells to me as if she has been drinking.
As I feared, we have stumbled upon a den of iniquity, Moo.
Leave her to me, sir. I am used to handling drunken women.
I do not doubt that for one moment. Et maintenant, to business.
So he went up to the waitress and found out
Your
she
name,
was
please?
drunk.
George Stobart. I'm from California.
There we go.
And what brings you to Paris, Monsieur Stobart?
Travel. I'm touring Europe.
You chose well. The city is most beautiful at this time of year, no?
Yeah, I guess so, apart from the bomb blasts.
Were you in the vicinity of the cafe at the time of the explosion?
Yeah, I was sitting out on the sidewalk. I was lucky I wasn't killed. The inspector passed over my remark with no reaction.
Did you see the deceased enter the cafe?
So sometimes you'll hear George, for the audio listeners, sometimes you'll hear George talking to himself, thinking to himself. So sometimes it might sound like he just said that out loud, but yeah, there are certain things he's not saying out loud right in front of the inspector. Okay, so did we see it? We're honest, George. We definitely did see him go inside. I mean, in the at the intro of the game, I'm pretty sure you saw him go inside. So we'll say yes.
Yes, I did.
Was he alone?
Yeah.
And did he say anything to you?
No. He was more interested in the waitress.
Did you see anyone else in the cafe?
We sure did. We saw the clown. So we can talk about the clown, or we could say no, but we're going to play Honest George. So Honest George says...
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a clown. He was carrying an accordion.
An accordion?
Not a harmonica.
Oh, the picture is forming in my mind, and it is not a pretty one.
Such a dramatic score by Bennington.
Is the girl all right, Moo?
She'll live if she survives the hangover. She doesn't remember seeing a clown, monsieur.
That's odd, don't you think, monsieur?
That is.
Who am I to believe, I wonder? Eh bien, I have heard enough.
What do you mean?
I am satisfied that you know nothing. You may leave. I hope this little incident does not spoil the rest of your vacation.
What about my personal safety? Can't you at least give me some advice?
What can I say? Stay alert and look out for suspicious characters.
And don't cross the road until the little man shows green.
Great advice.
I honestly believe you are in no danger, monsieur. Should you remember anything of importance, please contact me. My card.
Our first item in our inventory is going to be Inspector Russo's cards. It will be.
Thanks.
That is all. You may go.
It will be useful later on.
There's not much to go on, monsieur.
On the surface, no. But what lurks inside the subconscious? If the door can only be opened.
What does that mean?
Are you serious, monsieur? I thought your interest in psychic detection was purely academic.
Academic? You are about to witness a scientific breakthrough.
Scientific breakthrough. So apparently he's able to use his psychic powers. Anyways, we're now back outside. Inspector Moo is now standing in the doorway of the cafe, so we will not be able to enter the cafe again. But all of a sudden, there's this interesting woman outside taking pictures, walking around taking pictures. She looks very peculiar. I'm just going to say she looks very hot. Let's see what if George cannot have a nice, decent conversation with her. Let's see.
Excuse me, mademoiselle?
I forgot to press the observation button. I'll do it later.
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Oh, an American by the sound of it.
Yeah, that's right, on holiday in Paris. Some holiday, huh?
You were here when the bomb went off?
Sure was. Sat right out front of the cafe.
Did you notice a middle-aged man, maybe 60, with an hat and overcoat?
I couldn't believe it. She hadn't even asked how I was feeling. Yeah, he went inside just before the bomb exploded. You weren't related to him, were you?
Oh no, nothing like that. I am Nicole from La Liberté.
Well, what's that, some kind of nightclub?
No, it is a newspaper.
You're a reporter?
I'm a freelance photojournalist.
Say, you can interview me about the bombing. You know, an eyewitness account. Minutes after the outrage that shook the whole of Paris. You know, real-life drama, human interest, that kind of stuff.
I'll just stick to the facts, thank you. Did you see who planted the bomb?
I know it sounds crazy, but he was dressed like a clown.
Oh God, it's him again.
Oh God, it's him again. Now we're not just gonna stop there. We're gonna immediately ask a question straight away. because it seems that she knows what's going on. So let's press the picture of the clown here and just ask, what are you talking about? Him again? How do you know about this?
Have you met the clown before?
It's a long story.
I have plenty of time.
I don't.
And she just shut us down pretty easily there. She doesn't have the time to talk about him. Well, we're gonna at least ask about this guy, since she was supposed to meet.
Who's the guy you were supposed to meet?
His name was Planter. I didn't know him, but he called me last night. He said he had a story which would interest me. He asked me to meet him at the cafe. I guess I'll never know what he wanted to tell me.
Not unless you have Rosso's gift for psychic interrogation.
He's already making fun of Rosso for the psychic interrogation tactics. Anyways, all of a sudden, we get the option for the clown again. So, shall we press on it? Why not? Let's just, I want to know more about this clown.
Why won't you tell me about this clown?
Why do you want to get involved?
Because he almost killed me. Isn't that reason enough?
I guess so. Listen, I'll give you my phone number. You help me with my story and I'll let you in on what I know. And let's get one thing straight right now. This is strictly business.
Okay, it's a deal.
I have to go develop these pictures. A bientôt, monsieur.
Fine, I'll see you soon.
A bientôt. Saucy. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. If you're a Bottom fan, then you should know what that reference is. A bientôt. Saucy. Beep. I'm so sorry, poor Bennington. Your music is Barrington, not Bennington. Why did I say Bennington? Barrington, your music is great, but I am afraid it is a little bit too loud. During that conversation with George and Nico, all of a sudden, I felt like I was not hearing them. Even I can see the texts. I can see them obviously having a conversation, but if you're listening in the audio version, this is way too loud. So, volume check. Music is going... This is all at the same level. Music, speeds, and sound effect. So, music is going down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Done. Still pretty loud, isn't it? Well, maybe it's... it seemed loud when it's only the music, but compared to... Wait, just make sure... Did I actually change the volume? Let's do 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Done. Now it's definitely a little bit lower. Okay. I'm sorry. It will definitely... It's still... You will still hear it quite well, I think. But I just want... I don't want it to over... like drown out the actual conversation. You want to hear them. So what are we going to do? We all of a sudden... She's gone. Nico is gone. We just talked about the clown, that she knows about him, and then she gave us her phone number. Ooh la la. And then she just left. Only call me if you have any valuable information, which means no, we're not going to be able to call her and just say, hey, how's it going? It's nice to meet you, Nico. And no, we need some real information. So we're going to need to find out what the hell happened. So in the intro, we did see the clown escape through this alleyway here. It's an alleyway, right? Never mind. So let's check it out. What could possibly in here? Alright. It's basically in behind some buildings here. There's a lot of trash cans and there's a manhole cover. So let's see. Maybe he went up this drain pipe here.
I took a deep breath and prepared to climb the drain pipe.
Nope.
I guess the clown had an escape over the rooftops.
No, that was easily broken as we tried to climb it up. So he definitely didn't go there. Is he hiding in the trash can? Nope, he's not there. There's another trash can. Is he hiding there? Let's check it out. Whoop.
It smelled like someone had dumped a truckload of fish in a locker room on a hot summer afternoon.
That sounds really bad. That sounds like it's gonna really smell. What about the third trash can? There might be something in there. Let's find out. Boy, am I glad that I turned the music down, because that was loud. So there was a cat inside the trash can that just, yeah, let George have it. No, he basically ran away. So there's the manhole cover. So if I just...
It was an iron cover concealing the entrance to a drain or sewer.
I'm going to try to use more the observation button, so you get so I let George explain to you what's going on. Let's try to open it.
I tried to lift the cover with my fingers, but couldn't gain any leverage.
So we're not going to be able to open it with our bare hands, which means the clown might have... I almost said the Joker. Well, it's a clown that kills, so why not? So we need something to open up the manhole cover. Now, before you would think, as we see... Okay, the music is still way too loud. I'm sorry. Volume once again. 1, 2, 3. Done. I think the music is way too loud. At least my voice will get drowned as well. I'm still so sorry to the great late Barrington. But, you know, it is how it is. So obviously you think, oh wait, there's a construction guy over there. You need something to open up the manhole cover. You would think he might have something with him, some tools. But before we go talk to him, let's pick up this newspaper that's laying outside the cafe. It might be worth...
Wrapped around the lamppost was a newspaper.
Yeah, near the lamppost. It might be worth something. It's fun to pick up items, to keep items, especially when George has these really large items.
The leading article referred to the visit of a Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state. That was the only news story. The rest was rumor, gossip, and sensationalism. Then I noticed the writing at the foot of the page. It read Salah Eddin, 1345.
What could the unpronounceable Eastern European state be? Is it Czechoslovakia? No, it doesn't exist at this point. Is it the former former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia? No, it's actually North Macedonia today, but this is way before that. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm pretty sure you can just say Bosnia then. They just threw it in there. Never mind. So we have a newspaper now, and we have Rosso's ID. Not ID, but well, we have his business card, I suppose. As an investigator, you should have a card. Let's see. So here's the guy. Let's see.
The muscular workman wore a morose expression, like a silent warning to leave him to get on with his job.
So he probably doesn't want to get bothered too much. So this guy is working out, digging a hole. What do we have here next to it?
It was a huge and weighty-looking engineer's telephone.
Engineer's telephone. Telephone, right? Who do we need to call? We need to call Nicole later, right? But only if we have any valuable information. There's also a small, like, standing tent that you can stand in here. And what's inside here? Well, look.
It was a tent made out of plastic sheeting.
Okay. Tent made out of plastic sheeting. And what's inside the tent? Let's find out.
It was a battered metal toolbox.
Musical cue. Toolbox. Makes sense, right? Since we need a tool to open up the manhole cover. Well, if I just try to pick it up, what happens then?
Hey! Stop that! Get away from there! What do you think you're doing?
I was admiring your toolbox.
Oh, wait? Had a good look, have you? I'm warning you, if you touch it, I'll crack your nut.
Crack your nut? Jeez.
Okay, I get your point.
That's pretty brutal. So the guy is not gonna allow us to just pick things out of his toolbox. So let's see if we can talk some sense into him.
Hey, you!
I thought you'd been arrested.
No, it was a misunderstanding.
When he pulled that gun, gah! I thought that was it. Those automatics pack quite a punch, you know?
He made a mistake. He thought I was a terrorist.
You? A terrorist? Ha!
He was only doing his duty, I guess.
Yeah, he thought the tourist was a terrorist. Basically, he's mixing those two things up. So anyway, we have a lot of options here. Not only can we talk about these different things like the toolbox, the guy Plantard who died, and then the clown, but we can also talk about the items that we are carrying. Well, let's ask about the toolbox first.
What's in the toolbox?
What's in the toolbox? As if you didn't know. What's the big deal about tools, anyhow?
They're cool. Tools are civilization.
You don't say.
That's right. Tools are what distinguish us from other animals.
Who are you calling an animal? I've met your sort before. Looking down your nose at me because I'm working class, huh? I've a good mind to knock your block off.
Yeah, he's probably not gonna give us anything out of the toolbox.
What kind of tools do you keep in your box?
Huh? You really are interested in tools?
Sure, like I said, tools are...
Yeah, civilization. So you keep saying.
So, are you gonna show them to me?
Am I? Why, you?
Aw, come on. Just a little peek.
I've got work to do. Find someone else to bother.
It's not gonna be that easy. I love the way he says civilization, civilization, civilization. Let's try again, toolbox.
Do you have a tool for lifting manhole covers?
As it happens, I do.
He does.
Cool. Lend it to me, just for a few minutes.
No.
Aw, come on.
No. Get your own.
He will not lend it. We can still ask about the toolbox.
Let me explain what I'm going to do with your manhole lifting tool.
Let me explain what I'm going to do with my beak.
Oh, hey, forget it. I'll come back when you're in a better mood.
It doesn't get any better than this.
So now we cannot ask about the toolbox anymore. We're in a dead end street. He is not gonna let us use his toolbox. So what are we gonna do? Well, we can still talk to him about like plant art.
Did you see an old guy with a briefcase?
Wait, silly old coot. Do you know what he said to me? Work fascinates me, he says. I could watch it all day. Quel bit. I could have knocked his block off.
We can still ask about plant art.
Did you recognize the old man?
No. Should I have done? Was he a celebrity?
No, but I guess he is now. His name was Plantard.
Was? He's dead then?
Yeah.
That's too bad. Now I wish I hadn't called him what I did. If only I could turn back the clock. If only I'd been more tolerant.
Regret and remorse are strange emotions. They really bring out the hammiest actors in people.
I love some of the things that he's thinking to himself. They're very quirky, funny things. Anyways, let's ask about if he saw the clown.
Did you see a clown come by this way?
A clown? Like in a circus?
Yeah, with makeup and a big red nose.
Huh! Those guys are funny, aren't they?
Not in my experience.
I love the circus, especially the horses.
You haven't answered my question. Have you seen a clown?
You think I've got time to watch everyone who passes by? Some of us have to work for a living.
So, he probably didn't notice the clown. We can still ask about the clown, but notice there's a hint there. I love the circus, especially the horses. What could that mean? Let's find out.
Look, I know you're busy, but surely you'd have noticed a clown.
I told you already. I didn't see a thing.
He was wearing multicolored baggy trousers and makeup.
He'd be a poor sort of clown if he didn't.
That's a good point. He would be a pretty bad clown if he didn't do that. Once again, the clown.
Listen, I have to find that clown. He's a killer.
Say, who are you anyhow? A cop?
No, of course not. I mean, do I look like a cop?
No, but you act like one, sticking your nose in where it's not wanted. How do you know this guy's a killer? Did you see him in action?
Didn't you hear the explosion? The cafe was blown up.
The clown killed the old man?
That's right. Blew him up with a bomb concealed in his squeeze box.
Merde. But why did he go to the bother of dressing up like a clown?
Who can unravel the tangled logic of a killer's mind? I guess it's some deep-seated psychological need. Or just plain showmanship.
Or a good cover. You're not really recognizable if you're dressed up as a clown. Or maybe it is the Joker. I don't know. Maybe it's a reference to the Joker. So all the options down at the bottom of the screen are no longer there. So no, we only have the top options at the top of the screen, the item options. We can ask him about the items. So I'm just going to skip asking about the Rosso's ID because we're not a cop and we're not, well, I mean, shall we find out what he says about it? Probably not much.
Take a look at this.
You told me you weren't a cop.
Don't shout about it. I'm working undercover.
Who are you looking for?
That's confidential.
So he pretends to be a cop when he shows the Rosso's ID, which is really strange because he just saw Rosso pass by here. You would think he could have put two and two together, but then again, he seems very busy digging this hole. So, newspaper that we picked up. Let's ask about that.
Would you like to read my newspaper?
I haven't got time to read that. Can't you see I'm busy?
You could read it on your lunch break.
10 minutes is all I get. And if my boss had his way, I wouldn't get that. He'd have me on a drip, so I didn't have to stop to eat.
Jesus.
Oh, take the newspaper and quit complaining.
Bah! Look at this! Damn bleeding out liberals! Jah! Save the dolphins, catch them and eat them, I say! All that fuss over a bunch of fish! Nah, that's more like it! Look at the size of those! Like champagne bottle corks, no? Ah, what's this? Saladin running in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.
It's a racehorse?
A horse? A legend! Bucephalus reborn, mon ami! Like a streak of lightning she is!
He seems to like horses for some reason, and there's a good reason, maybe. Let's listen.
Do me a favor, won't you? Keep an eye on my hole. I'm off to put some money on that nag.
What about your toolbox?
Stuff it. Help yourself.
And all of a sudden, he doesn't care. He leaves the scene. He's gonna put a bet on that horse that he saw the tip in about the horse in the newspaper. So all of a sudden, he's no longer there. Toolbox left open there for us to pick the T-shape
I found
tool.
just what I wanted. A tool for lifting manhole covers.
We found a tool that can lift up manhole covers. So the obvious thing now is to go back to the manhole and try to lift up that cover. I have no idea how long I've done this. I think I'm up to the hour. So let's go into the manhole. Just sounds terrible, doesn't it? Manhole cover, manhole. Just sounds awful. Let's see. Here's the. You can also right-click the items to get a little description of them, right?
It was a metal rod with a handle at one end and a short cross piece at the other.
Right. So we're gonna use that to obviously open up this manhole cover.
I lifted the cover to reveal what smelt like the entrance to a sewer.
Well, duh, it is the sewers. I mean, what do you expect? So now let's go down this down the manhole. I think it just sounds awful. Manhole, just ugh. We get a really nice short animation, I suppose. Short cutscene where he is walking down the stairs, climbing down the stairs. And now we're inside the sewers, and this is like one of these old-fashioned built many hundred years ago, kind of looking like one of those sewers. I've no idea. I've never been down the sewers like that. Why would I be down in the medieval sewers? Well, it's not maybe medieval, but pretty old, right? It's Paris, right? Paris. I said it like a Frenchman. So there are definitely large sewer systems in that city, and they're pretty big, I think. So that clip, that small animation that we had there, that the short cut into showing George walking down climbing down the stairs. I remember back 25 years ago thinking, wow, the way computer games have evolved is scarily good. This is just superb, graphics. And it really was back then. Now today, obviously, it just seems pretty like a normal animation, but it's still really colorful and it's lovable animation. Does that make any sense? Lovable? I really like watching this kind of animated cutscenes and stuff like that. And back in the day, it was really impressive. It was like, whoa. I got this game for the PlayStation and I was like, wow, games are gonna look even much better now than I thought they would end up looking like. Well, and today obviously they look fantastic. Everything is in HD and you know what. I'm rambling. Let's there's something red and circle, red and brown on the laying there on the is this a floor? No. Never mind. There's something laying down there. Let's examine it first.
It was a shiny red plastic ball sat incongruously on the slippery green slimed floor.
Shiny red ball? Are you sure about that, George? Try to pick it up and see what it actually is.
As I picked up the plastic ball, I realized it was intended to be worn. It was the clown's red nose.
The clown's red nose. It wasn't a ball. So we're on the right track. He definitely went down the sewers. So we need to follow this path. You can hear the water passing by us here. It probably smells pretty bad down there, but we have no idea. It's only visual, and for the people who listen to the podcast, it's only the audio that you can hear. So let's follow the path and see what happens here. There's a bunch of stairs on the other side. We're probably not going to be able to cross, but there are a couple of things we can see here. There's one other thing here laying down there. Let's see, what could it be?
It was a soggy, crumpled paper tissue.
Tissue? Do we need the tissue? Why not?
I scooped up the sodden tissue. It was cold and greasy, like breakfast leftovers.
Greasy. Notice that word, greasy. Why is it greasy? There's a bunch of spikes.
The railing was put there for
railing.
a simple reason: to stop people getting past. It worked.
Yeah, spiky railing here. There's something on it. What is it?
It was a small scrap of cloth caught on the rusting spike.
All right, let's pick up this cloth. What could it be?
I took hold of the scrap of material and unsnagged it from the spike.
I wonder if we can see the cloth. It doesn't seem like it matches the clown outfit. If we just right-click it a little bit.
It was the scrap of material I'd found in the sewer.
Oh, well, you're still in the sewer. And then
It was the soggy tissue I'd found in the sewers.
soggy tissue. So we found soggy tissue. We found a scrap of clothing here, and then you can't see it, but the icon for the clown's nose, you actually have a face of George wearing the nose. So we found 3 different things, and then there's a stair leading up at the other side here. And I'm gonna end this here today. I'm gonna press escape and save 1, and I'll just do the JLR podcast network. I'm writing that in for those who can see it, and I'll save it here. And the reason I'm ending it here is because I'm probably well over the hour, and this is where the demo ended. My first experience of Broken Sword was on the one of those PlayStation 1 demo discs that were definitely in Europe. I don't know in America if they had the same kind of demo system there, but I remember playing the demo and it ended here, and I thought, I have to play this game where I have to know what happens next. So the demo got me hooked, then I got the game, and the rest is history. I hope you've enjoyed this part of the podcast episode. I hope this will work for you audio-wise. The music, I'm a little bit afraid that the music might be a little bit too loud. We're just going to have to deal with it. I did try to lower it a little bit. And for those who are watching it on YouTube, well, I mean, it's no problem for you. You'll easily see what is happening. But like I said, audio-wise, I hope you've been able to catch up and understand what's going on. I hope the conversations and the dialogue, it's pretty low quality for today's standards, but I hope it's still you're still able to listen to what it's all about, what they're saying. And the reason I wanted to play the original is because I wanted all that extra dialogue that isn't anymore in the director's cut. There is a director's cut of this game that includes a campaign. Well, there's a storyline for Nicole, the reporter that we just talked to. And I thought to myself, I really want to play the original game first, just to capture and relive all those things that are maybe not longer in the direct cuts. There are certain things that are different, especially, that band about, when he was talking about comedy, what was it, Comedy Belgians, Tintin and Poirot, anyways, all that dialogue and other things, I want to relive them and experience them again. In the future, I could just do a special podcast about just the bits where Nicole Collard is doing her thing in the director's cut. It could be a separate podcast, separate episode on YouTube. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will be back sooner than later. I will not be like Jason Manford, who just bailed on his. Sorry. Yeah, he was doing this by himself as well. The British comic, and he hasn't finished Broken Sword 2, but he did do Broken Sword 1. You should definitely check that out. That's a guy who hasn't had played in the game for a long time and had no idea what he was doing, and that was with a live audience as well. This is not going to be live. This is just a video and an audio clip as well. All right, enough babbling, enough rambling. Let's end it here, and I'll hopefully have a video and audio clips ready soon for more Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars walkthrough and review. Was it in that order? Walkthrough and review, not review and walkthrough. Yeah, walkthrough and review. All right, never mind. Thanks, and you guys take care. Bye-bye.